All right, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to do a Mediterranean scene today. And my goal today is basically just to get some color down on the canvas. That's really all I'm going to do today. That's all I have time for. And that's what we're going to do. I mean, there's a lot of color that's going to go in here. You can see I've got somewhat of a sketch. And I got a picture over here to my right that this is a big hill right here. It's got that picture in it. But the rest of this I kind of made up. A lot of this is just made up on my own. As I say, if you don't have something good to paint, you kind of got to just make things up. And that's okay. It's good for your imagination if you have one. Sometimes I don't have one, like the rest of us, but we're just going to start sky. I don't have any liquid white up here. This sky is such a small area. I thought, I don't even know. I don't think it's worth it. Because some of this may be covered. I'm going to have lots of vines and flowers and stuff running up some of these posts. I'm not sure which ones yet. I don't know. This is all water down in here. Yeah, I'm dry brushing this. There is no liquid white on this at all. None of it. One thing about it, when I come back, after I get this color down, when I come back to this painting, it should be nice and dry. I mean, it shouldn't be wet because it might be several days before I can get back to this particular painting, and that'll give everything time to dry real nice. Shouldn't have any issues with that. Let's make it a little darker up in here. A little darker. I'll probably have to take a 1-inch brush and blend this up just a little bit. This is kind of a slow way to do it, but that's what you got to do. Make it a little darker right here. I haven't done one of these in a while. A Mediterranean scene, I don't think. Pretty sure I haven't. And this will keep everybody's interest. Doing something different. Not doing the same stuff all the time. Let me get me a 1-inch brush. This might speed things along a little bit. I'm just going to kind of blend this up. If I have enough paint down, that is. It's a lot different when you don't use liquid white in your sky. It's a little rougher to blend. Usually don't look as good, but this is such a small area. I thought, my gosh. I think I'll wind up putting some clouds up in here anyway. So I think we're going to leave that right there. We're going to leave it just the way it is. As I said, I've got flowers, might be covering it. Nothing to worry about. Let's go ahead and start on this hill. We're doing what's furthest back first and working our way. That's furthest back, that's second furthest back. Let's take some brown. This is going to have lots of different colors in it. It's got burnt sienna in it. Let's even throw some raw umber. I'll throw it back in here. Raw umber's really dark. Because I know for a fact, I do know that this area is covered in flowers. I do know that. You know how I know it? Because I can see it. I'm looking right at it. And most of this area up in here is covered with flowers. Take some brown. Oh, I forgot a piece of sky right there. And I have to get that here in a minute. That's burnt sienna. yellow ochre. I'm not coming down all the way. I'm going to stay about an inch away from the bottom here. You'll see why here in a minute. Let's throw a little bit of sienna in there. Maybe a little white. I'll have to go over everything again, I'm sure. All right, let me show you what I'm doing here. I went ahead and worked on some of this, got me a couple clouds in, and now I'm working on my water down here. And I'll show you how I do it. This keeps you from spending half a year doing water. I'm just taking my brush, putting some movement in it. That's really all I'm doing. It's just a quick way to create movement. I got a little, I used white to start with, but now I'm getting into a little bit of blue as it's coming closer because it should be getting a little darker. And this is how I do it a lot of times. I mean, it creates movement, and that's really what you're after. Unless you're in a lake, painting a lake or something, where the water's supposed to be real still. But I find this is a pretty effective, pretty easy way to do it. If you've never done this before. Just nice and simple, just kind of flipping your brush like that. I'm sure there's a million ways to do things, there always is. This is just how I do it. I'm sure there's a lot of different ways to do it if you look on YouTube. But this keeps you from spending a lot of time. You know, this channel is mainly for beginners and intermediate painters. Therefore, we don't want to get into the real heavy technical stuff. I like to have my paintings done within a reasonable amount of time. And the reason is, man, I paint a lot. I mean, you know, you're on YouTube, you got to pump out paintings. You can't take 3 weeks on a painting. You got to get it done. Get it done and move on to something else. That is if you want to make it. I mean, if you want to take your time, and you can, there's nothing wrong with taking your time and going real slow and methodical and putting in every little piece that needs to go here and there. That's fine. I wished I had time to do that, but I just don't. And it's not just because I paint on YouTube. It's because I work 2 jobs. I mean, I gotta get this stuff done when I can. Well, let's go ahead and put some flower pots in. I've been working here a little bit. I made these into bricks, worked on this stuff a little bit, and that's probably about all I've done. I mean, it just takes time. It really does. So let's go ahead. Let me see, is this brush too big? No. I got a filbert brush. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm looking at this painting that I have to see here. Let's go ahead and put some, I think I'm going to put the flower pots in before I finish this right here. Let's go ahead and put one right here. Let's make it a pretty good size one. This is real wet, as we know. This is still the same day I was going to just put color down and quit, but I have a little extra time. So I'm still working on it. So this is still wet. Still real wet. Let's put another one right here. I'm just using brown. This is burnt umber. Give me a paper towel in case I need it. I'll set it here in front of me. I don't need that really hang on to it or anything. Oh, let's put one right here. This is probably a fatter one. With a fatter bottom. Let's put another one here beside it. Yeah, we've got lots of flowers in this painting. Let's see, let's put a few more in. Let's put one right here. Right here, I think. I'll make this one bigger since it's closer. Yeah, I like using filbert brushes when we do flower pots because they're rounded on the end. I feel like it helps. I like filbert brushes. I really don't use them enough. I should use them more than what I do. For now, that might be good. So I'll tell you what we do now. Let's go ahead and pick up our palette. I'm going to go ahead and put some background stuff right here. I'm going to take some Prussian blue. Look at what I'm doing here. And I'm just going to start flipping it in. Oh, I need some green. Excuse me. I didn't put any green out. I didn't think I would need any today. I'll get a little bit out. Okay. Prussian blue. This will give you a real dark color. There's going to be flowers all up this post right here. Might as well go ahead and do it. No sense in waiting around. Let's take some green. I'm putting this on here pretty thick because this is background stuff. It really don't matter. I just want to kind of get a variety of colors. This actually goes all the way across the top. I'm going to have to get some more Prussian blue out. I didn't think I'd use this much. I hate to put a bunch of stuff out and then it go to waste. Prussian blue is really bad for that. It don't last very long on a palette. It's actually one of the worst. Other colors I can keep several days on a palette. Well, a day, or at least a day or two. Prussian blue is not one of those. It goes bad quick. The next day, I almost have to throw it away. Since I got some yellow out, let's mix this color up a little bit. Throw some yellow in, give it some light. We don't want it all dark back in here. Some light will get through. Yeah, I'll do this kind of quick. I'm going to be making my way out here in just a second. I've got to get a little bit more Prussian blue though. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Okay, before I go any further, I got a number 2 brush, round brush right here. I'm going to go ahead and put some viney things up through here. I'm going to call them viney things. I'm going to take some brown. I might be able to hold this up for you. This is that tan I was using earlier. This is still the same day. I thought I didn't have enough time, but maybe I do, to work on some of this. I am going to start. I don't really know where to start. I'm looking at this picture I got here. Let's start right here. Let's see, this is really light, so I need to make this a little darker. I'm going to take some raw umber. I almost can't see where I just did that. Okay, right there. Let's put one right here. It's going to connect right here. It's going to run down into that. This one's going to come over like that. Make it a little fatter. This is going to connect. You just want to give the impression that vines are causing this to look the way it does. I'm going to bring this one over top, I think. This one here. Okay, that's not too bad. Bring that one right there. This is probably a little too fat, but that's okay. Yeah, we want to give the, not the illusion, but the impression that there is vines. And see, you can plainly see what's causing all these vines. There's something growing up right here. Let me look here a minute. In my mind, I think it would be okay to put one right here and just leave it exposed. Maybe even right here too. I'll put some highlights on these in a minute and you can see them a little better. Maybe right here. Leave this one exposed. This is raw umber. I'm just strictly using raw umber at this point. Let's put one right here. We're going to do the same to this side. You know, if we get something where we don't want it, we'll just fix it. We know how to fix things, don't we? Most of the time. Nobody wants to fix nothing. No, I don't. I'd rather do it right the first time. All right, let's go ahead and start working on putting some yellow on some of our flowers. I put a fence in there a minute ago. I actually forgot to do that, and I started working on this, and I thought, uh-oh, I better do that first. This will be a little bit dark right here, because this maybe a little bit right here. This will be catching a little bit of sun, not a whole lot, but some. Just brightening up the edges. You got to keep your brush clean. Keep reloading your yellow wherever you think the sun is hitting it. I think the sun is definitely hitting this for sure. Cad's yellow light. This will take a little time. We got quite a bit to do up here. Start on the outside and pull in a little bit. But these are all getting different colored flowers on them. But you definitely got to put some yellow in it just to show where the sun's touching. Okay, let's go ahead and do this one. We know the sun's catching this pretty good right here on the edges. That's for sure. It's definitely catching that. And we know it's catching this. Probably not so much there. We know the sun is catching this area. Wipe it off every time, because this is still wet. I mean, we just put these down a while ago. Start on the outside and work in. Okay, that's probably okay. Now for this. See, we'll make an imaginary line. We'll say the sun from this brush down is hitting. From there up is not hitting. That's what we're going to say. So we're going to start right here. And we're going to start putting some yellow in this. We're just going to use an imaginary line. And it's going to be coming from right here. So keep reloading. Keep a clean paper towel handy. You got to use clean yellow. See that green? I don't know if you can see it, but there's a lot of green on that brush. That's because these are still wet. Start here. Start on the outside and work your way in. See, we're following that imaginary line. Just like if our brush was right there. This is highlighted, that is not. So we know for a fact this is getting it big time. It's definitely hitting this right here for sure. Quite a bit. Following that imaginary line still. I mean, this can get minor highlights up in here, but the major ones are down in here. with this yellow, the major highlights. We're just going to, let's see, this is going to have some shadow because of this post. Stand back and look here a minute. Okay, let's go ahead and let's start putting some flowers on this stuff. Alright, I'm going to start with some alizarin crimson. I got a pretty good brush, pretty good sized brush. I think it's a number 3. And I'm just going to put them where I think there might be flowers. You'll have to put it on here pretty heavy because this is still really wet. I'm going to try to put quite a few over here if I can. Put one right here. This one will be in the light. I'll put a couple here that's in the light. Sunlight, that is. There'll be some back in here. Just putting them in randomly. That's all I'm doing. One right here. 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 Then I'm going to put either cad red light or cad red medium on top of that. Make it stand out and shine. I'm just looking around for spots. This could probably use one right there, maybe right there. You can put as many as you want. Just put one right there. Like I said, I'm just kind of making most of this up. That might be okay for that. Give me a little smaller brush for these smaller pots. And I think I'm going to probably use the same color. I think most of these are going to be red. Most of these flowers. The reason is, I mean, I got some blue, but the ocean's blue. You know, you don't want it to blend in with the background. I'm kind of afraid that's what's going to happen if I make too many of these blue. Whoa, boy, that was a gob. That was a gob of paint right there. It's come flying off my brush. I didn't really want that much. Let's put one right there. There. As I said, we're making this up as we go, and that's okay. That's probably enough for that one. All right, let's see here. I might make that one. Oh, I might make this and put some blue in that. I'll make this one red. Whoa. That's a big flower. I was used to making these big flowers, and man, I really socked it too, that one. I might make this one blue too. Let's make this one red. Let's put one more right here. Okay, that looks good. Let me find me a different brush. This one has blue on it. Let's see how, I got turquoise. I don't know how well this is going to look. Yeah, not too bad. I'm going to quit making these things so big. Making these flowers really, really big. We'll do this one turquoise also, because I can see a difference. It's not that bad with the ocean behind it. We don't want everything red. All right. Let me wipe this brush off. We're going to start putting some brighter colors on here. I'm going to start with Cad Red Light. And I'm going to have to make it kind of heavy. Put it heavy on your brush. And the areas that's getting the sun is going to be getting some of this. Let me get me a clean paper towel. You're going to have to wipe this off too, because it's picking up a lot of the crimson that's under there. Got to put it on heavy. Okay, that'll work. In case you haven't heard me say it, Cad Red Light's one of my favorite colors. See, I put it on there thick, but just not thick enough. Because we're dealing with wet paint. This whole thing is just completely wet. I don't like thinning my paint down. I mean, you can do that too, but I don't really like doing that. See how much brighter those are? You put that Cad Red Light on there, man, it just brightens these things up. Big time brighten them up. Let's see, this one's in the sun. Okay, start on this other side over here. A lot of these are not in the sun. I'll use Cad Red Medium for that. Okay, here's some. Almost forgot about our flower pots. How could I forget those? Just enough Cad Red Light out, because I am almost out. Sometimes you can even touch a little bit of white on these. Okay, now I've got Cad Red Medium. And the reason I'm using it because I accidentally put it out on my palette. This is a little darker, not much, just a little. Just a little darker than Cad Red Light. But I don't want these as bright, because they're not supposed to be as bright. They're in the shade more. right here, and I think that's it on this side. See, they're just a little darker. Yeah, I accidentally shot this out on my palette, and I meant to get Cad Red Light. So now that I got it, I'm going to use it. Got one right here. You can't hardly tell the difference, really. I mean, it's very subtle. There is a difference, though. Now, another paper towel. This all takes a little time. Okay, folks, that looks like a wrap. I think it turned out pretty good. I mean, it's something different, and that's what we try to do, is different stuff. Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe for more future videos. Thanks for watching.